Hey guys, round 5 review after, honestly the review was going to be a bit more ranty 10 minutes into the last quarter, and then we kind of decided to, pull our finger out, play fast Saints footy. I don't know how much of that was to do with the Giants kind of getting a bit complacent, or we lifted. I think it was a bit of both. I think they kind of thought the game was done, to be honest. And we lifted when they were down. We sensed that. Led by Brad Hill, by the way, just straight before I forget. He was probably BOG. He was amazing.
He was sort of the one as well. Like the whole game, it was very stagnant, very just stop-start, very, let's just slow it down. He was the one that was sort of keen to be actually the leader to move the ball quick.
Yeah.
Moments in the first quarter, second quarter, where he's yelling, screaming for the handoff. And then in the last sort of, quarter and a half was the one that actually, lifted the team and then propelled to the crazy finish that we just saw.
It just feels weird walking away from Manuka Oval now and seeing the score, 80-79. It just didn't feel like we were ever really a chance. But also at halftime I posted, and it just felt like a game where we should have been 7 or 8 goals down, but we also should have been a goal up, just based on the amount of missed opportunities, the snaps, just the lack of judgment, composure in front of goal, which again hurt us today. Different to the Essendon game where we missed some clear cuts, but we took the right shots. This was more, we took the wrong shots at the wrong time. Like Kamanides, was it Owens? He kicked it on the full.
Yeah,
Kamanides.
Owens, snapping in front 15 or 20 metres out.
Yeah.
But then you also look at the defensive end as well. We gave away 3 or 4 goals that probably shouldn't have been. Machida takes a really strong mark, but then, quickly tries to move the ball quickly, which is a good thing, but then, kicks it over. I forget who it was, over their head, and Toby kicks a goal. Battle did the same thing. Tries to take a good 45 ankle kick. Right option, but overkicks it again.
Overkicks it, they turn it over. I think at half-time or three-quarter time, they'd kicked 52 of their 70 points from turnover. So that just shows. And I said this in the preview. I said, unlike Richmond, our mistakes will be punished very quickly. And anytime we made a mistake, they did that. Owen's taking mark of the year and then kicking it backwards, and then Hogan snaps it. It's just like that summarised the game, where we did some good stuff, but we also then did some really poor stuff. And I
think the positive is, though, and it's easy to dwell on, it's a 1 point loss. We weren't in the game for a good portion of it.
Does that flatter us? Are you saying that flatters us, the 1 point?
Absolutely, it flatters us. But the other thing I have is, no matter what, they still fought. They still came back.
There was always fight.
And I've said this, on teams. I've said this in the Oppo view a number of times, where our best footy is definitely good enough. They're the benchmark at the moment.
They are the best. Well, they're top of the table. Still top, unbeaten.
And I think you got to take that 10 minutes or the 15 minutes that we decided to play. The concern is, why can't we do it for longer?
Yeah.
What's stopping us from doing it, even for a half? You do it for a half, you're going to beat 70% of teams by doing that. And then you're going to get into the contest of other teams because, it's just a strong game. It's, high competition, those sort of things. So,
it's another week where Filippo, Owens,
he's overrunning of the ball at the moment. Just 3-4 times a game. It's like he's trying to, do the Membry 2-foot jump, but he's overrunning and then just realises, oh crap, I've got a metre too far.
Yeah.
And it's causing turnovers in, big portions of the ground, like in the middle of the ground, where quick turnover, and or in Tsunami, they called that for a reason. They slingshot bang.
It's just frustrating because it still felt like a game where that forward line structure that I really want us to get right, it just didn't mix well. Like, you look at Higgins, he kicked the 1 goal late. I thought he was pretty average. Butler, pretty average. He was subbed off, wasn't he?
Yeah, subbed off. Yeah.
It just.
The whole the forward makes you, I think.
And then King, last week was great. Sam Taylor goes off. I think, well, great. This is the game. This could be the game. Sam Taylor going off. We just never found King in any sort of space, whether it was because it was his lack of effort to get into space to work, or it was that the forward line seemed so crowded by Membry, Kamanides, Owens flying for the ball. There was one goal, Owens' goal that you mentioned, that he got out the back, where it's like there were short options, but we went long to a pack of 10. Yeah, and it was lucky. It was good rove, but it was luck at the end of the day.
There's still no formula to it. We're not creating enough space. And you look at the GWS forward line. It was so open space. They could lead up. I think they had some really strong lead up forward and marks where we can't do that.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just getting in that sort of straight line. And there's no movement. So if whoever's at the front needs to lead up so that it opens up space for the people but it's not happening.
No, but as much as we can talk about, structure and game plan, I think we have to also realise that the Giants have so much class. they ooze class. And
they do, but it's
not an excuse, I know, but it's annoying because for the first 5 minutes you could tell if we brought any hint of pressure, we were in the game. Because they don't like that. They like it uncontested. They like to chip it around. They like to own the football. The second we decided to just roll the sleeves up with 6 minutes to go, that's when we got in their faces. They fumbled. We created chances. We scored off it. It was free-flowing.
Even the start of the third quarter, same
even the
situation.
Start, the goal from Brad Hill.
Roll your
tackles.
sleeves up. Let's get hard. Let's get physical.
Yeah.
And our pressure game, when we're on, that's our asset. That's our wonder.
Yeah.
We can't bring that for 15 minutes in a 120-minute game. It's not going to work.
No, it's not.
And whether they're not fit enough, whether they're too reliant on it, and they've got like a mental thing that, okay, we just flick a switch and we can, get back. Like, again, benchmark team, down by 30-odd points and still be able to get within a kick. And it's only for a heroic mark in the end that probably stops
we could have won that.
Any possible chance of winning.
Special mention, though, we did just speak to his cousin, but Hugo Garcia has to play a full game next week. I don't care what people say if they disagree. I'm sure no one does, but 7 tackles and 11 disposals from 44 minutes of game time. Could have kicked a goal, but he did kick it lace out to a leading player, which was perfect, unlike a lot of our senior boys that couldn't do that.
But
he was
awesome.
That,
it
3 clearances as well.
It wasn't a mark, but he still followed it up.
He did. So he followed it in.
And then I've said this multiple times. We say it on teams. Stop debuting the kids as a sub, because you could see he was itching to get in.
He was ready.
First contest, I think he was lined up against Tom Green, as I funnily mentioned. And he
takes him to the ball.
100%. There was a play on the wing where he took Whitfield out, and he should have got the free kick because Whitfield had about 30 seconds to kick it.
Yeah.
But stuff like that where that's a sign that he's ready. He's ready to go. So he plays the full game next week. He's nearly top 6, first on the team sheet.
Yeah. I mean, going to next week, before we wrap up, the Doggies Thursday night, it's a quick turnaround.
Which is a good thing.
We take some momentum going to this.
Yeah.
The last 6 minutes in this game felt like the majority of the third quarter against Richmond, where there are gears. We can go to that point, but it's just annoying that we took that long to get there. Pretty much to the point where the game was done. The Giants probably put the cue on the rack a little bit. But nonetheless, it is momentum, some sort of momentum. We've lost 3 games this year by 12 points. That's the
frustrating part.
Yeah.
We could easily be, 3-2, 4-1, 5-0. Again, I still think that Geelong game we played didn't deserve to win.
Yeah.
Essendon game we lost. Here we should have done. I think we were definitely, capable of doing it.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that at the end of the season you look back and you're like, they're the ones that we miss out on.
But we move on.
We do. Doggies under the roof.
Get down
Thursday
there.
night.
Our first home game of the season, isn't it? Our first Marvel home
game
of the season.
It'd be nice to actually feel the crowds out. They had a big crowd there last night for the Doggies Bombers. I think we're capable of, getting down there. I know
40,000.
There's a few supporters that, it's the same old St Kilda.
Yeah.
But, the only thing that's going to stop that from happening is by us getting down there, cheering on the boys. Once we, again, it happened against Richmond in Norwood here today, once they heard a bit of voice of us, they were able to just,
great turnout.
100%.
Great turnout by the fans.
Saints travel well.
Thanks to Sainer that gave us a couple of seats as well last minute. It was really nice. Surrounded by Sainers, I thought once the momentum got going, got very, very loud.
100%. Imagine, 35,000, 40,000 Thursday night at Marvel, under the roof, all cheering for the same team.
We fought it out. I know it wasn't the result we wanted, but we knew going into this game we had to be good for 4 quarters or at least 3 quarters. We were good for one and a bit at the most, so that wasn't going to be enough today. But we almost pinched it again. We did it almost against Geelong. We did it almost against the Giants away from home. Our form is up and down, but we're staying in games when we find them out. So if we can bring our best on Thursday night, I dare say we get the chocolates against the Doggies because they're in a spot of bother as well.
Yeah.
And if we go into that game aggressive, get in their faces, I think we can get the win.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, Sainers, comment your thoughts. Let us know. Thanks again. And as always,
go
your mighty Sainers. See you guys.